Imagine tucking your children into bed, only to return minutes later and find one of them gone. No sound, no struggle, just an empty bed, and a mystery that would haunt the world for decades. This is the story of Madeleine McCann, the little girl who vanished on a family holiday in Portugal in 2007, a case filled with confusion, controversy, and chilling theories. And to this day, no one knows what really happened that night. It was late April 2007 when the McCann family, Jerry, Kate, their 3-year-old daughter Madeleine, and her younger twin siblings, Sean and Amelie, arrived in Praia da Luz, a quiet seaside resort in Portugal. They were joined by 7 friends, a group later dubbed the Tapas 7, for a week of sun, relaxation, and family time. The group had a routine. Every evening they would dine at the same restaurant, the resort's tapas bar. It was less than a 2-minute walk from the McCann's apartment, so they decided to leave the children asleep in their beds while taking turns to check on them throughout the night. On May 3, 2007, the day had been warm and calm. Madeleine, bright, energetic, and curious, played on the beach earlier that afternoon. No one could have guessed it would be the last time she was ever seen. That night, Jerry and Kate tucked their children into bed around 8:30 p.m. Madeleine wore pink and white Eeyore pajamas. The twins were placed in their cribs. At 9:05 p.m., Jerry left the tapas bar to check on them. He saw all 3 children sound asleep, but on his way back, he ran into another guest at the resort, who would later testify that he saw a man carrying a small blonde child away from the apartments. At the time, Jerry thought nothing of it. Over the next hour, friends continued their checks. But when Kate returned at 10 p.m., she noticed the bedroom door was wide open. The window shutters were raised. The curtains fluttered in the night air, and Madeleine was gone. Kate screamed, "They've taken her!" Words that would echo across the world. Local police arrived, but the crime scene was a disaster. Instead of securing the apartment, multiple people walked through it. Family, friends, even hotel staff, contaminating potential evidence. Witnesses gave conflicting accounts. One claimed to see a man carrying a child in pajamas that looked like Madeleine's. Another thought they saw a couple acting suspiciously with a child. But with every passing hour, precious time slipped away. If Madeleine had been taken, she could have been anywhere. Portuguese authorities soon grew suspicious of the McCanns themselves. Why leave young children alone in an unlocked apartment? Why did Kate shout, "They've taken her," immediately, instead of assuming she wandered off? Was it instinct or guilt? The investigation turned ugly. British tabloids swarmed the story, turning the McCanns into both grieving parents and prime suspects in the public eye. The disappearance became one of the most heavily reported missing child cases in history. Newspapers splashed Madeleine's photo across front pages. Millions of people around the world recognized her face. Rewards were offered. Celebrities made appeals. The Pope even met the McCanns, blessing a photo of Madeleine. But the global attention brought as much suspicion as sympathy. Rumors swirled. Had Madeleine died accidentally in the apartment? Did her parents cover it up, or was she kidnapped and trafficked? The most widely accepted theory is that Madeleine was abducted by a stranger, possibly a burglar who panicked when he found her awake. Praia da Luz had seen a string of break-ins before. Could Madeleine have been taken by an opportunist? Others believe Madeleine was targeted by a child trafficking network. Theories suggest she may have been smuggled out of Portugal within hours, given a new identity, and raised far from home. This would explain the numerous sightings of Madeleine reported across Europe and even Africa in the years that followed. Police suspicion of Kate and Jerry intensified when sniffer dogs reportedly alerted to the scent of blood in the apartment and the trunk of a rental car they hired weeks later. But forensic tests were inconclusive, and no charges were ever filed. Supporters insist the McCanns' grief was genuine, and that police were simply desperate to pin blame on someone. In 2020, German investigators named Christian Bruckner, a convicted sex offender who lived near Praia da Luz at the time, as a prime suspect. He had a long criminal record, including crimes against children. But despite circumstantial evidence, no concrete proof has tied him to Madeleine's disappearance. The McCanns refused to give up. They launched massive awareness campaigns, raised funds, and even hired private investigators to chase leads across the globe. Sightings poured in. A girl who looked like Madeleine in Morocco, another in Spain, one in Malta. Each time, hope surged, only to collapse when it wasn't her. Year after year, anniversaries passed. The twins grew older, but Madeleine's age-progressed photos remained frozen in time, always asking, what if she's still out there? The case strained the McCanns' lives. They were vilified by some, sympathized with by others. Entire books, documentaries, and conspiracy theories bloomed around the disappearance. To this day, Madeleine's bedroom back in England remains almost untouched, a shrine to the daughter who never came home. Madeleine would be 21 years old now. Her disappearance remains unsolved, despite multiple reopened investigations in both Portugal and the UK. In 2022, German prosecutors declared they had concrete evidence Madeleine was dead, though they revealed nothing more. The McCanns, however, continue to hope. They believe until proof is shown, Madeleine could still be alive. The disappearance of Madeleine McCann is more than just a missing child case. It's a story of failure, of a crime scene mishandled, of police suspicion gone astray, of a family torn apart by both tragedy and the world's judgment. But above all, it's a story of a little girl who never came home. And maybe, just maybe, somewhere out there, someone still knows the truth about what really happened in Praia da Luz that night.